Well, hello and welcome to another RiderCamTV video, and today we are fortunate to have the Honda CB1000R, and look at that. What a beautiful machine. Now, it's part of the cafe racer-esque type style, and they call them the Neo Sports Cafe series, which has got the 300 or the 125R, the 300R, the 1000R and the 1000 Plus, and this is the 1000. And it comes in at about 1000cc. It's got about 144 brake horsepower. It's about 212 kilos, so really light. They've kept the weight down. And it's got a 16.2 thereabouts litre tank. So it can go for quite a way, and in some style, as you would imagine, and I'm sure you would agree. It looks absolutely beautiful. And their Neo Cafe range have all got these beautiful, beautiful headlights, so they're really distinctive. So it's almost like a little family of bikes. And the difference between this 1000R and the 1000R Plus is that the 1000R Plus is about £1,000 more in England, and for that you get a quick shifter, you get various other little bits, you get a little aluminium screen type thing here, and a couple of other bits. But if you were to buy just the R and wanted to fit those bits onto the bike, you would probably end up spending much more than £1,000. Now this bike has got the quick shifter fitted, which is amazing, so we're going to get on the bike and see how it performs. Well, I tell you what, the first impressions of this four-cylinder are that it is just the smoothest, and I don't know why I thought that it wasn't going to be smooth, to be honest, because Honda bikes are renowned for being smooth. So for 212 kilos with 143.5 I think brake horsepower, you can certainly feel the power that this bike has got. And it just makes that lovely, lovely throaty roar, as you can hear. And in no time whatsoever, it will get you to the speed that you want to be doing. Now, because this is quite a noisy helmet, I'm hoping that you can hear what I'm saying, because even at 63 miles an hour, I'm getting full-on wind. And that's to be expected. It's no criticism of the bike whatsoever. But oh my gosh, it's so smooth. Such a nice bike to ride. And the quick shifter is buttery smooth. I would put the quick shifter on par with the best that BMW have got to offer, to be honest. It is just literally so smooth, you would not believe it. Straight up through the box, exceptionally quick. Now the seating position is really comfy. I mean, this is a Neo Cafe racer. It's one of their family of Neo Cafe style racers. It looks just beautiful with that retro look, but bringing it into the 21st century. It's got the 21st century gizmos and gadgets. This one's in particular is fitted with a quick shifter that is buttery smooth, and I can't tell you how smooth it is. It is just incredibly smooth, unbelievable. So the seat actually really comfortable. I don't feel like I'm being held over the fuel tank particularly. I do feel like I'm leaning forward slightly, but it's a comfortable forward leaning position. There's no weight on my arms or on my wrists whatsoever. And the instruments, I mean, look at that beautiful screen. Now, when I stood in the showroom and had a look at that screen, I thought it looks brilliant. When it starts up, it's lovely, but I was wondering how those digits were actually going to show up properly, because you couldn't really see them at an angle. But I tell you what, the angle that they've put this on for you to ride on is just perfect. It's so clear, vibrant. It's got a bit of, I don't know, a 21st century type font. It looks clean and new, yet still retaining that classic old type style font that you would imagine on a cafe racer. It's just got everything you need there. It's got the miles an hour. It tells you what mode you're in, and we'll go into that a little bit later, because the mode that you're in dictates what the bike is actually going to do for you in terms of traction control, braking, power, all of that sort of jazz. The buttons on the handlebars are, as you would expect, quality Honda buttons. You get really good feedback when you click them. They do work really, really well. And I'm not fishing around for the indicator button or the indicator switch, which on some bikes feels very loose. This feels very tight, and certainly in the right place. In terms of how my knees feel, they feel really comfortable. I don't feel as though I am crunched up whatsoever. I feel that my knees are just right, just in the right position. Now, I'm about 5'11" tall, and I seem to have quite long legs, because sometimes when I buy trousers for the, biking trousers and things, I end up having to get either the standard or the long legs just to make sure that they go right down to my ankles properly. So I'm wondering whether my legs are slightly longer. I'm not sure. However, the seating position for my knees is just right. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I'm not fishing around for the brake pedal or the gear lever whatsoever. It's just there in the right place. And I've not ridden one of these bikes before. Today is the first time on the 1000R, on this particular 1000R, and I'm not fishing around for any of the controls whatsoever. The air is just naturally right in your face. Although I say that there's a lot of air, I can feel it and it's noisy. It isn't buffeting air, it's not unclean air. The bike does a very good job, I think, of however it does it, but making the air clean to come over your helmet rather than it bouncing you about. Now this bike has got a key. It's not keyless. Not sure whether keyless comes with it. And you can get things like heated grips, and that's one of the extras on the 1000 Plus if you were to buy that for the extra £1,000. Now the wing mirrors. Now I know that in previous videos we've said that some wing mirrors could do with being a little bit wider, and this bike's no exception. They could do with being out just probably about 2 inches, 2 inches more. Because I can see everything, but I have got my arms, so to see what's behind, I do have to move my head quite a bit. And in some ways, that's quite a positive to have to move your head around to look, because it keeps you awake, keeps you alert to what's going on. So, suspension. Well, this is on the standard setting at the moment, and everything's just right. It's set up just right, the speed is just right, the braking's just right, and the suspension, it's hard, but it's not too hard. It's not bouncing me around, making me feel that I haven't got control over the bike, but it is allowing me to feel most of the bumps on the road, which is kind of nice, because you feel at one with being on the road rather than just a wallowy bike riding around and not being able to feel anything. Is it flickable? Totally flickable. And because it's only 212 kilos, to flick it about is effortless, absolutely effortless. Because of the way Honda have organised your ride, or your riding position, it is absolutely effortless to just put into the corners. Not a problem whatsoever, it just falls into it. And that noise, do you know, it feels like a bigger bike, and I know 1000 is a massive bike, but it just feels nice. I mean, listen to this. I mean, is that not nice, or is that not nice? And I would be really happy on this bike. I'd be really happy doing a tour. One of the tours that we do, I'd be happy taking this sort of bike with a backpack or soft luggage or something slung over the back. Be quite happy with it. Seat is really comfy. And I know that some people will say, well, how do you know the seat's comfortable after only riding it for a few minutes? You kind of get a feel for different seats. The GS that we ride, the seats are really comfy, but even on the GSs, after a while, I have to get off them. And, you know, you're not going to be riding for more than a couple of hours, 3 at the most, I would have thought, without getting off, and you'd want to get off just to walk about a little bit. but I don't get the feeling that this seat would become very uncomfortable very quick. What's the horn like? It's a horn. Enough said, it's a horn. It is so much fun. So much fun. And down through the box is just amazing. Absolutely incredible. Just goes so well, and it's effortless to get into the corners. You know, to get the lean is just absolutely effortless. But you know that you're on something really sporty. And it's funny, I'm not getting any vibes or anything through the pegs, through the handlebars. You know, sometimes when you get on a bike and then you get off it after a bit of a ride, your feet are kind of tingling. Well, this isn't tingling at all. I would have one of these. It looks awesome. The colour is amazing. And this one comes in 3 colours. I think it comes in red and this colour and a black. And the 1000 Plus only comes in the black, apparently. But whatever colour you get, it's going to be to your taste. And I tell you, you're not going to be sorry for buying one of these. So now I've put this bike in from standard mode, which we've just ridden in, into sports mode. And you can see here it's reduced the amount of traction, the engine braking it's reduced the amount of, and it's giving you all the power. So now, rather than having 2 of the power, we've got all of the power. And I tell you what, there is a marked difference. But it's quite funny because on some bikes, changing the mode from sport or rain, that sort of thing, it does make marked improvements, but sometimes it makes improvements and things to the bike that you don't actually know. I know that sounds really weird, but you can't actually feel this one. As soon as you're going to pull away, the accelerator is closer, the power is there, and blimey, when you pull away, you know that you're in that. You just know that you're in it. Hello, and here we are with this magnificent machine. Also part of the Neo Cafe Sports series, or Neo Sports Cafe series. This is the CB1000R. Beautiful bike. As Mark would have told you on the last bike that we did, the 125, Honda know how to make exceptionally smooth bikes, exceptionally good sounding bikes, and really good looking bikes. And this is the big daddy, I kind of guess, the big daddy of that cafe series that they've done, in line with the 125 and the 300. Just an awesome bike. Now this is the 1000R, and you can have another version which is the 1000 Plus. Now the 1000 Plus is an extra £1,000, but for that extra £1,000 you get things like heated grips, you get a quick shifter, you get a little aluminium screen type thing on the front of the bike, you get some bits and bobs. If you were to buy the 1000R without those and then put those bits on, you'd be paying considerably more. So if you were looking at that sort of thing, the 1000 Plus I would guess would be a better bang for your buck. But if you got this one comes in 3 colours. It comes in silver, it comes in black, and it comes in red. On the 1000 Plus it only comes in black. So that's the difference with this. So going from the front to the back, I guess, the screen on this is amazing. It goes through all these different things to get started, but what I really like about it, and I said while I was riding, is that for the 21st century they've used a 21st century font, but they've used it in a way that shows that it's an old font, so you kind of think you're riding an old bike, the cafe style bike. They've really put me on an old bike, but with brand new technology. And I really do feel that when I'm riding it. It's right in the right place. I initially thought, stood by the bike in the showroom, looking at it, that I couldn't actually see what it said properly, because it didn't have any colours and that sort of stuff. But sat on the bike, it's as plain as day, really clear. So what I really like about the screen is not only the font, but the amount of information it gives you. So you've got your time and how hot it is. I think that's engine temperature, judging by 67 degrees centigrade. Or, yeah, it'll be the engine temperature. You've got the
rev counter, I think they call them.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Mark. Rev counter. How much fuel you've got in there, average mileage, that sort of stuff, how fast you're going. and it's also got your gear selector, which is really good. But what I like about it is when you press mode, it changes the line, and the line means that that segment of what you can change is active. So I'm going to change it from sport into user mode, and user mode is so that you can change the traction control, I think that says the engine braking and the power, all to what you want it to do. And then you've got a rain mode, which gives you full traction control, less engine braking, I think that's engine braking, but less EP, and less power, down to 1. If you go to standard, it kind of standardizes and gives you 2 segments of each one. But chuck it in sport, you've got less traction control, less of the EB, but full power. And I tell you what was really different is that there's so many bikes that have different modes on their bikes. Really good stuff. But when you change the modes on the bike and you're riding around, yes, you can feel it, but can you feel it? Does it make that much of a difference instantly? And the thing that I've noticed on this is you chuck it from standard into sports, and instantly the throttle, as soon as you touch it, you're away. Whereas in a lower mode, you're pulling it back further. It just seems so much tighter. Really, really impressed with that. So handlebars, really good width apart. Didn't feel like I was too far or having my arms too far apart or too narrow. It felt really comfortable. One thing I did notice is the seating position did throw me forward a little bit, but there was no weight at all on my wrists at all. It felt just the right place to be. The switch gear on the handlebars is just standard Honda switch gear. There's nothing really that you can say about it other than it just clicks just right. You know you've pressed it. It's really good stuff. And like Mark had on the 300, the wing mirrors, they could do with being put here and sticking out another 1 or 2 inches. I can see a lot of stuff, but I'm having to move my head, which some people might say is a good thing, because if you're moving your head, you're being more alert to what's on the road, and you're actually moving about on the bike, so you're not getting so tired. But I did find that they should have been a little bit further out than they are. That was my only criticism with those. Otherwise, they're big enough, you can see enough, but they're just not far enough. And then coming back through the bike, the seat, where do I start? It was really comfortable, really comfortable. I think it's because it's really quite narrow here. I didn't find that I was being pushed to hug my knees onto the tank, although I could do, because there are some other bikes that kind of naturally push you forward, that you actually grip it naturally. Didn't feel that. I felt very relaxed. I felt like this was a seat that I could ride on for a good couple of hours without having to get off. It was very comfortable, and you've got the addition for a pillion seat, although there are very, very small grab handles for the pillion. I'm not sure if I would like to be a pillion sat on a
I believe
seat.
on the 1000R there's a plastic cowl that comes with that, covers that up.
So for this bike, I wouldn't take a pillion on this sort of bike anyway. This for me is a bike that you take and enjoy yourself. It really is. It's a bike that you take to enjoy yourself. But other than that, going to the back of the bike, we've got LED lights everywhere, LED indicators. Really bright, they're prominent. But what I do like about this one is that rather than having this massive tailpipe sticking out, which I know for legislation and all that sort of purposes you have to have, they've gone for this. And I really think it suits the style of the bike. But not only that, it's functional. It's going to stop all of that rain spilling up all over you and all that dirt and stuff spilling up all over you on a grotty day. It's got a hugger, tiny hugger. Whether or not that will do most of the stuff, but, and I'm surmising here, if I had this bike, would I be taking it out in all weathers? Potentially not. Potentially this is a fun bike to have if you're fortunate enough to be able to have the money to have 2 bikes. If it was my only bike, it would be going everywhere, and perhaps I'd be thinking a little bit different about the water coming out. But really like that idea. It looks much better than having this plastic thing banging around. And then round this side we have got some beautiful wheels, and the wheel is, you know, everything that Honda has done, they seem to have designed it really well. It looks beefier than it is. And then you've come back this way and you've got this beautiful can with the 2 pipes sticking out of it, and it sounds immense. I absolutely love the sound of this, and even with my earplugs and stuff in, I could hear this burbling as I was riding along, and knocking up and down the quick shifter was just incredible. It really was such a nice sound. The foot pegs aren't too wide, they're not too narrow, but one thing I did find is that I've never ridden this bike before, but having ridden this bike, I wasn't searching for the brake pedal or the gear selector at all. It was there right in the right place, showing me that Honda have really done the homework again for this bike. And I thought when I first got on this that my knees would be really quite high, but they're actually a really nice position to be in. I didn't feel that I was stretched or over scrunched or anything. And then we got this beautiful bit of Honda technology, this beautiful engine that is as smooth outside as it is smooth inside. It runs really smoothly, it's just incredibly nice. And then down here we have all of these massive pipes coming out of this 4-cylinder engine and this huge great radiator, but it has got a mudguard on the front. Now I would have liked to have seen that mudguard a little bit longer just to protect that a little bit, but you know, that seems to be the way that manufacturers do their bikes these days. It's got good brakes, good suspension, and then you come round to the front and you see this beautiful light. And in keeping with the rest of their cafe style Neo Sports Cafe range, it just looks really special, and it kind of makes it look really old, but has brought an old bike into the 21st century. And that's genuinely how I felt with this bike. I felt as though I was riding an old bike that looked old, that I felt really good to be on, but had all of the stuff from today's world rather than all of the stuff from the yesteryear, if you like. Really comfortable bike, the power is immense, and if I could take it home now, I probably would.
Wow!
It wouldn't replace my adventure because that does a completely different job, and that's my job bike. I could see myself riding this. Lots and lots and lots of fun. Lots of fun, I really enjoyed it. I don't say that about many bikes, to be fair. This one I would take away. I just love everything about it. The style, the way it rides, the comfort, the sound, the speed. Just really good. So I don't think there's much other to say than it's really good.
Is it really good?
It's really good.
Right.
So if you've liked the video, give it a massive thumbs up. It really does help us. Hit that subscribe button, it'll be there somewhere, and we'll see you in the next video.